and welcome to VIBEZ Daily. This is a daily devotional curated by VIBEZ Church to help you practice the way of Jesus and be all that God has called you to be. You have joined us for our year-long series titled Devoted. Acts 2:42 tells us that the followers of Jesus were devoted to the apostles' teaching, to fellowship, to breaking of bread, and to prayer. This podcast was created to provide context and commentary for what you read each day. Just before our friends begin discussing today's reading, we want to invite you not only for fellowship, but for prayer as well. We have created the VIBE Daily Chat Group to offer you fellowship and a community where you can state your observations, ask questions about the reading or the podcast. You can join us by downloading the VIBEZ Church app in your favorite app store. Click Join the Conversation and join us today. And finally, we hope that you can join us for prayer. Prayer happens Monday through Friday, and more information on that can be found on the VIBEZ Church app under prayer. Now, let's begin our conversation on today's reading.
Hey guys, welcome to VIBEZ Daily Podcast, where we are in a series titled Devoted. We've been reading through the Bible from cover to cover all year, and we are here in Psalms, finishing out this week. I'm Shameeka, and I'm here with my bestie, Nakia.
Hey, again. I'm still here.
Yes. And we're excited to just be covering Psalm 69 through 76 today. We're in day 173. But yeah, we've been just basically discussing with each other just different scriptures that point out or that sticks with us, but also any psalm that just really resonates with us. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, starting in 69, or if there's any other things that come up to you, is there anything that stuck out for you today?
Just that the first three Psalms seem to all be a cry for a desperate help of some sort. Mm-hmm. The theme of Psalm 69 is a cry of distress in a sea of trouble, and then Psalm 70, the theme is an urgent prayer for help. And then Psalm 71 is God's constant help throughout our lives. So, and then I thought it was interesting that, not to skip ahead, but I'm just giving like an overview of the first few Psalms. Mm-hmm. I did not know that at the end of Psalm 72 was the end of prayers for David.
Yeah.
Because for some reason I assumed that he wrote most of the Psalms.
Right.
Not just up to 72. So that was interesting.
No, seriously, that was one of the things that stuck out to me too. Because I was, I guess, kind of anticipating just more of these Psalms being about things that David wrote. And so that was definitely something that stuck out to me. But I do know that it does say that Solomon is one of the writers of Psalms. So I guess that would make sense because eventually David dies, and then Solomon is able to kind of record some things within his reign. So I'm like, oh man, we don't get to see much of David anymore.
David.
Yeah, because his heart, it's his heart in a way that he has his songs that I really enjoy. But I was gonna say there was a few things that stuck out to me. One of the things. Let me see. Is this Psalm 69, I believe? Mm-hmm. Yeah. In 69, just seeing what was taking place for David. In verse 8, it says, I am a foreigner to my own family, a stranger to my own mother's children. Whoa. And I was just like, whoa, like you said, you feel that weight of, dang, like it's as if he's isolated in this time of lament to the Lord and crying out. That made me really sad to kind of think about that. But then also like in verse 10 and 11, it says, when I weep and fast, I must endure scorn. When I put on sackcloth, people make sport of me. Those who sit at the gate mock me, and I am the song of the drunkards. And this kind of reminded me, and I've said this before, even last week, some of what David says reminds me of Job when he's in his lowest of lowest, and you got people around him, his family don't even recognize him or not even trying to kick it with him anymore. And you get to see this as well with David, and to know that David was out here fasting.
Yeah.
He said, I'm weeping and I'm fasting, and like I'm just being mocked. Again, it just kind of shows his devotion to God in these times of trouble. And part of me thought of something. I was like, I wonder how much of David's life consisted of him being in constant lament.
Yeah.
Like, what was that time period like? Because just reading this, because we see so many of them, in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, most of his life looked like this. Because it's just in these different seasons we see it happening, in these different wars. Okay, now you got this stuff with his son, and then, he in the desert, and it's just with Saul. I'm like, dang, he spent a lot of his life seemingly just really crying out to God.
But I think what strikes me is that he's still crying out to God. Even, like Psalm 69 opens up when with him saying, deeper and deeper I sink into the mire. I can't find a foothold to stand on. I am in deep water. Yeah. And then as deep as he is in water, and is this sea of distress he's in, right? He still in verse 16 says, answer my prayers, O Lord, for your unfailing love is wonderful. Turn and take care of me, for your mercy is so plentiful. Like, where do you find hope when you're that deep in a sea of trouble? Yeah. Like, how do you still find hope?
That's real. And he still tends to find it. Because we see in verse 29 and on, he says, but as for me, afflicted and in pain. Come on now. Kind of sound like Paul right here. Afflicted and in pain. May your salvation, God, protect me. And then he says, I will praise God's name in song. And Still singing.
Can't take his song.
Right. And glorify him with thanksgiving. I'm like, dude, David got some pipes on him or something?
No, for real.
Because that was his way of, like, again, giving praise to God. Like, I'm singing. I'm going to sing my way through this season. Yeah. That might be a word right there.
That is. Like, I've heard that in church so many times.
Yeah.
That's what we're supposed to do. Yeah, I don't know. David makes it, it's a lifestyle for him. Yep. Like he did this. We see now that he did this all the way up until the end of his prayers. Yes. In the Psalm. So
I like that.
Yeah, that's encouraging.
Yeah, I like that you point that out. It's a lifestyle.
Yep.
And then in Psalm 72, I got confused only because, and you can tell me what your Bible says, but when it gives that description, it says of Solomon. So I thought that Solomon wrote it, but then it ends with saying this concludes the prayers of David, son of Jesse. So,
well, mine does say that Solomon is the author of Psalm 72.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool.
Yep.
I got you. So I can't remember if this is the first time that Solomon has stepped on the scene. He might have already in our reading, but we get to see Solomon, which is David's son, come up.
That's what it says. This is the end of prayers. This ends the prayers of David, son of Jesse. So I guess it's his, his offspring, his descendant. This is the last of David's descendants, maybe, that we'll see.
Now you got me thinking.
Because I don't want to, because the ones up to 76, I won't jump ahead, but Asaph is the author.
Yep. And then we'll see, I think we'll see Moses and then the sons of Korah again. Yeah. So to your point, I wonder if that is also concluding. Wait a minute now. I'm in Psalm 101 and it's of David. Yeah, I would love to know the context of that. That's something we'll definitely have to kind of do some research on.
So I retract my last statement. This seemingly is not the last Psalm of David.
But
72. It read like it was, but we'll see later on that he actually does have Psalms throughout.
Yeah,
past 72.
But like you said, even mine says this concludes the prayers of David, son of Jesse. But who knows? I guess we'll have to wait and see as we continue to read Psalms. But there was something that, that's what I was going to say in 72. I do love verse 12. It says, for he will deliver the needy who cry out, the afflicted who have no one to help. I love this because we get to see that and be reminded that God is a God that is for those who are needy. Yeah. Oftentimes the ones who are oppressed, like his heart is grief for them. And it even reminds me of like the Israelites back in Egypt, because they were in a time of need and just needing that deliverance from the Lord, and just being treated very harshly, and God delivered and saved them. And so he can stand confidently and say this, not just from his own experience, but from what he's heard generations prior, that God is a God who is for the needy. So I love that. Well, we get to continue on. We got Psalm 73. There was a few things I highlighted as we continue on. If you want me to go, I can, but if there was something that stuck out to you.
No, because I highlighted several things. There are several things that stood out to me, so we can just like bounce off each other.
Cool. The first verse, in 73, surely God is good to Israel, to those who are pure in heart.
Yeah.
Come on.
And let me know how you interpreted this.
Okay.
But when I read Psalm 73, verse 2, but as for me, I came so close to the edge of the cliff, my feet were slipping and I was almost gone. The theme of this psalm is talking about the sovereignty of God, right? Ooh. So when I read verse 2, I thought like, man, that's so, it resonated with me, because that is how I felt, like personally in my own life, just being so close to the edge of like, just not knowing if I'm gonna be able to like do this, not like denounce my faith or anything like that, but I think I was so close to just thinking that I was like a good enough Christian, and like if I had done enough, you know what I mean? So if it didn't get, if I didn't accomplish anything else in my Christian walk, like that would be cool. But I like that it said that my feet were slipping and I was almost gone. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was about to say, and to continue on, like the verses after that, it talks about, because this is Asaph, he's honest with us and saying like he envied the arrogant. When I saw the prosperity of the wicked, like they had no struggles, their bodies are healthy and strong, they are free from common human burdens. Like,
come on now,
it's
it's like when you get weary in waiting, or like you do these things well for a while, and it's not like anything is great is coming from it. Like you do kind of get, I was almost at the edge of the cliff. I was almost gone. Like, you know what? I'm not going to do anything else. Because it don't seem to be getting me any further. Yeah. And it does make you envious of those around you.
For sure.
Who maybe aren't doing all of these good things, but are still so healthy and strong and seemingly living painless lives. Yeah, that... And I highlighted a few other things in 73, but you go ahead.
No, I just love that you pointed that out, because that's the realness of like how this is applicable to us, is that just that how things do seem greener, if you will, on the other side of like you said, like I'm fasting, I'm doing all these things, and what does it look like whenever I don't immediately see the fruit of my submission and reverence to God? And in that, will I still continue to follow him despite what others may seemingly have? Yeah.
And that's why in 13,
I was gonna say that.
Ask that, like, was it nothing? Yeah, that I kept my heart pure and kept myself from doing wrong. It seems like it was nothing. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you get weary in waiting, man. You do.
Yeah.
All I get is trouble all day long.
Yep.
Every morning.
Yeah.
Pain. Jesus.
But and then we see this. It's funny because I love this turn.
Yeah.
It's 16. It says, when I tried to understand all of this, and that's the problem. We be trying to understand it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where we mess up at.
It's not your business, first of all.
Like, who are we?
Yeah, no, for real.
Like, to think that we can understand. Again, I'm reminded of Job and the conversation that even God had with Job. Who are you? Like, who are you to think that you know everything and to know what I have orchestrated and going on?
Yeah.
It troubled me deeply, right? Whenever he tried to understand it, till I entered the sanctuary of God, then I understood their final destiny. And remembering, like, yes, like, there's a place for those who do not serve and honor the Lord.
Yeah.
But, like, we have to remember, and I think you said this a couple of days ago, our eternal investment that we get to have, even if we never see anything on this side of heaven.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what we get to have in eternity, that's even more significant, and just, that's gold compared to what someone could give me here. Because like you said, when they die, where it's going, they can't take it with them
here on earth. It's gonna stay behind.
Yep.
Somebody else to experience and enjoy.
Yeah. And man, there's just so many nuggets from here, but I also love just further down, and I don't even know where to start. I'm like, I'll just start in 23 where I highlighted, I am always with you.
That's the read 22 first, because it says, I was so foolish and ignorant.
Oh, yes.
I must have seemed like a senseless animal to you, and yet I still belong to you.
Yes.
You are still holding my right hand.
Yeah.
Man.
Yes. You got me with your counsel, and afterward you will take me into your glory. Ooh, woo. Whom have I in heaven but you? In earth has nothing I desire besides you.
Yeah.
My flesh and my heart may fall, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. And see that, like we said, this is the conclusion of yes, that God is your portion.
Yes.
He's enough. And man, the glory that we get to have with him. I was really encouraged by that. So love seeing this, how this heart started though. Yeah. Started real and raw. All right, now I'm about to slip. I feel like I'm on the edge of sinning.
I'm about to say, don't even worry about it, because is it nothing? Right. That my heart is pure, and I haven't done anything wrong. Yeah. It seems like it's nothing, so I'm about to just. This is real.
Yeah. And I think too, like it also points out that I think this is also one of the reasons why a lot of people choose to not follow Christ. One, it requires submission, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, what happens when you really have to give up your whole life for this? Even the things that are seemingly just amazing, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's a constant dying to self, right?
Yeah. It's crucifixion.
Exactly.
Painful.
And I think that it requires too much for some people. Yeah. Where
it's much easier to be your own God. It really is.
Yeah.
Than to make Jesus your Lord.
Yeah. And to submit to that. So yeah. Anything else? Either 76, 77, or 78, because I know that this. Wait, no, we don't have that. Sorry.
We stop at 76.
We stop at 76. Look at me trying to get ahead of myself. Is there anything in the other chapters that may have stuck out to you? Let me see.
So the theme of Psalm 75 is that God is the final judge. When people threaten our security, we can be confident that God will ultimately overrule. And so I love that Psalm 75 starts with praise. We thank you, oh God. We give thanks because simply because you are near.
Yes.
People everywhere tell of your mighty miracles. And then I like, because we were just talking about in was that Psalm 73? I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, we were talking about being at the edge of the cliff because people living painless lives and all of that. And so I believe in Psalm 75, God talks about the justice, bringing justice against the wicked.
Yeah.
It says in verse 4, I warn the proud, stop your boasting. I told the wicked, don't raise your fist. For no one on earth, I'm skipping down to 6, from east or west or even from the wilderness can raise another person up.
That's good.
I think Psalm 75 for me just gives that hope.
Yeah.
That that we can continue to rely on God. Because He'll take care of the wicked, even if it seems like they're prospering.
For sure.
Justice.
For sure. I love that. For me, 76. And this is actually our last one for today. There was a few good nuggets in here, or just even just scriptures that I really liked. One, I do love verse 7. It is you alone who are to be feared. Especially whenever we know that, and we I can't even say that just they experienced this, because we experienced this today. There's so many people that are serving other gods, that are choosing to bow down and worship other things, but knowing that God is the only God that is to be feared. And even I highlighted verses 10 through 12. Surely your wrath against mankind brings you praise, and the survivors of your wrath are restrained. Make vows to the Lord your God. Here is a command to others, like, make vows to the Lord your God and fulfill them. Let all the neighboring lands bring gifts to the one to be feared. He breaks the spirit of rulers. He is feared by the kings of the earth. And I just do love that, because no matter what great authority that may be out here, whether it's presidents or just other things, like, we know that ultimately God is the one who is to be feared, and even he has control of those kings and those rulers as well. So certainly. I feel like this is a really good and fruitful week, and just getting to dig deeper into the Psalms, and again, just be reminded of God and who he is, and his sovereignty, and his just his loving kindness and faithfulness, and even just that reminder of the inheritance that the wicked attain, and even those of us who may be righteous, what we have as well. And so thank you guys so much for joining us today. Looking forward again to continue next week in Psalms. We have 150 of them, so we're still gonna be going. Yes, we'll still be going strong. But thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.
Thank you for joining us for the VIBEZ Daily podcast. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, or download our favorite, the VIBEZ Church app. Visit vibes.church/devoted for additional episodes, notes, details, and the latest merch. Join us next time as we continue our journey through the Bible. Take good care.